the shocking stories early in the CFL season has been the BC Lions' poor start. And the Lions have brought much of their trouble on themselves. They have fumbled at inopportune times. They haven't quite connected on passes that might have made a big difference. And special teams have produced more costly BC mistakes. The story has been quite different for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They have forced and taken advantage of other people's mistakes and have made big plays on offense, led by newcomer Derek McAdoo. On defense, with a solid veteran nucleus of players. And on special teams, where Wally Zatilny helped win a game in Regina. The result, the Ticats' best start in 20 years. Welcome to Hamilton for the 3-0 Ticats and the 0-3 Lions on CFN. Who would have thought when this football season that BC would be 0-3 and Hamilton 3-0, but that's what they are as Earl Winfield takes the game's opening kickoff and slips at his 35-yard line, and you could hear the fans and the way they reacted to Winfield handling the ball for the first time since returning from the NFL.
Well, there's no question the fans are excited. When he was introduced, he got a big roar from the crowd, and now Mike Kerrigan would like to keep that roar going for his offense. He's had tremendous success in a short, exact type of passing game, and the BC Lions defense knows they have to take that away from him early, disrupt him.
Kerrigan less than 50% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Not the kind of numbers you would normally equate with a 3-0 football team, but the Ticats have done a lot of other things right, and Kerrigan has played well. The number is not always an accurate reflection. He's sacked, though, on his first play of this game, and there's also a penalty flag. And the Lions will lose the sack with a penalty, Neil. And when you talk about their troubles, you could start with penalties if you wanted to, because they've taken a lot.
BC number 6. First down repeated.
A lot of times those penalties are unnecessary, and I think that's what they want to eliminate, the silly ones.
43rd penalty of the year. Beautiful night, 25 Celsius. And the wind not too strong. It rained very hard here in Hamilton late this afternoon, but it's cleared up for the most part. It looks like we'll have a good night. So it's first down and 5. Ticats from their 40. Derek McAdoo carrying off the left side. May have gained a yard, and that'll be all. Alondra Johnson and Gino Mingo in on the tackle.
Well, head coaches have many concerns just naturally going into a football game about players, what they're going to do, assignments, but head coach Larry Donovan of the BC Lions has more than just the average pressure of a head coach. 16 changes, we're going to talk about that goes on, and a number of other things, so I'm sure he's got everything crossed that he possibly can.
At some point we will focus on the incredible number of changes the Lions have made since that Grey Cup appearance last year. Kerrigan on second down, no good, knocked away nicely. The pass intended for Estelle, and Marcus Thomas reached in to bat it away.
Well, immediately look at Thomas. He's one of the people that have been changed. He has been playing the corner. He's back inside. You see the coverage, good movement by Johnson out of that middle linebacker spot. Reading Kerrigan, when the eyes go to the inside, he moves as well as Thomas.
Paul is Baldiston to punt. Third down and 5. The ball at the Hamilton 40-yard line. As Baldiston will be kicking into the wind in the opening quarter, and his punting has been one of the highlights of the season, one of many highlights for the Ticats. And this is a short one that's grabbed on the run and returned to the 52-yard line of the BC Lions. So the Lions will have pretty good field position for their first offensive series under the direction of Matt Dunnigan.
Well, there's absolutely no question of Matt Dunnigan's abilities and his credentials. The one thing I think what he needs from his offense, and Larry Donovan agrees, is some support. You can't put it all on his shoulders because he'll try to do it, and it doesn't work that way.
A fierce competitor, Matt Dunnigan, throwing long. Carinci wide open at the 25. He falls, making the catch. But the Lions come out with a solid defensive stand and then get a big play, their first play on offense.
Well, Larry Donovan told us in our meeting that he was going to threaten the defense. He was going to go deep, not only to Williams, but his other players. And what he's got here, perfect protection. Carinci getting up in that seam in the defense. Makes the adjustment to the throw. Good play and a big one.
34-yard gain to the Hamilton 30-yard line by 30-year-old Jane Carinci. And Dunnigan won't get it away. Tim Lorenz with the sack.
Well, we see Matt Dunnigan sprint, threaten the outside, but this time it's like a semi-roll. He's going to go to the left. He needs backside help. Karinci's giving him the cut on Giftopoulos, but they didn't get a helmet on everybody. Lorenz snuck through and got to Dunnigan.
Played very well. Tim Lorenz, second-year Canadian player, who is a Vancouver native. Dunnigan on second and long. Looks for David Williams in the end zone. Touchdown! David Williams showing why he was the CFL's most outstanding player in 1988 with a terrific maneuver to get to the football.
Well, we talk about David Williams and the obvious abilities that he's shown. But you know, something that we don't talk about is his ability and timing. He jumps very well, but he jumps always at the right time. The mistake was made by the DB, Lance Shields. He's got good coverage, but he jumped just a hair too soon. Williams' timing was perfect, and the man, Matt Dunnigan, was right on the money.
Great concentration by Williams to actually get his body in a good position to go up and get the ball and make sure that the defender didn't knock him off his course. Just a good play all around, and the Lions with the convert have a 7-0 lead, and we're just over 3 minutes into the game at Ivor Wynne Stadium. David Williams just caught his 22nd pass and his 6th touchdown of this CFL season. The Lions 3 plays, 58 yards, a 7-0 lead, 3 minutes and 7 seconds into the game, and Earl Winfield with the kickoff. Across the 40 to the 42-yard line of Hamilton.
Well, if the team wants a shot in the arm, that's the best way to do it. First possession, you take the ball, you control it. Good job of changing up the plays. The final play here to David Williams. Nothing fancy. He gets position. Actually, Shields has got a good job of his position. Shoulder or the hip of Williams, but it's the timing of the throw and of the jump. And no one gets close to Dunnigan, and that's a key. Nice little hop at the end there, too.
Great players make great plays, somebody once said, as Derek McAdoo rips off a 10-yard run across the 50 to the 52. And you can make a case for David Williams and Matt Dunnigan being great players, and perhaps one day you will be able to make a case for young Derek McAdoo along those same lines.
Well, it's still far too early in the season to look at statistics and say they really mean a lot. McAdoo, not having a great game last week, knows, as Al Bruno does, he's capable of much more, and they expect more.
20 yards and 12 carries last week. Jed Tommy carries on the first down from the Hamilton 52 and has a yard, maybe 2, for the 53 or the 54.
Well, you talk about starts for a head coach. When we talked to Al Bruno today, reminded him it wasn't, or the last time was 1969 when the Tiger Cats had success. And they were 2 wins, no losses, and a tie. But he also reminded us he was an offensive coordinator at that time, that after that they lost 5 in a row. So he doesn't like looking back.
Oh, he hates to hear talk about maybe Hamilton's the best team in the league right now. He said, how can you draw a conclusion like that at this stage? And that's a good point, as Earl Winfield may go. Return.
Well, welcome back. Earl Winfield runs a drag pattern, lets the inside receiver go down the seam. You see him come across. Super move on Johnson, number 44. Watch the block right here. Just enough to slow him down so Winfield can get to that sideline and then to the end zone. Holy smoke.
Winfield scored 18 touchdowns last year for Hamilton. Missed the first 3 games this year, but picks up where he left off. I said Winfield scored 18 touchdowns last year. In actual fact, he only scored 13. Watching him run the touchdown there, it just seemed like he scored at least 18 last year.
Well, the way he's starting, even though he's missed 3 games, he'll get 13 and maybe more.
56 yards, Kerrigan to Winfield, and the game is tied 7-7, and it's not even 5 minutes old as Anthony Cherry brings Baldiston's kickoff back to the 40-yard line.
Interesting on the catch by Winfield, he catches the ball as it's thrown by Kerrigan before he gets too far into the middle. See, the inside man clears out. Winfield gears down just a little bit before he gets into traffic. Now he turns on the speed.
And he froze Alondra Johnson with a great move, the middle linebacker, number 44, which really keyed his ability to get around the corner and get it into the end zone. Dunnigan wants David Williams, but he can't quite catch up to it. That's Smith, not Williams, playing his first game for the Lions. That slot back, big Phil Smith, Dunnigan was looking for that time. Dunnigan will work with Tony Cherry and Jamie Terrace as his starting backfielders. Terrace replacing Anthony Parker. They hope to have him back next week. Smith, Carinci, Williams, and Streeter the receivers. And the offensive line with Powell replacing injured Jim Mills and Jamie Buis in place of Coughlin at right guard. Lions had a number of changes for tonight's game. Some of them they were forced into by injury. Others they made because of poor play. 2nd and 10 from their 39. Dunnigan fakes and then hands to Cherry. And he's across the 50, the 52, and will have a BC first down.
There was an interesting comment made about Tony Cherry that when he's been running the football, he's been looking to break the long one instead of hitting for 6 and 7 and then breaking one. Nice play by Dunnigan. He puts the ball on his hip. Tim Lorenz feels he's got another sack. Execution, that's all part of it. It's not only Cherry taking the ball, it's everyone else doing what they're supposed to.
He only had 79 yards on 33 carries coming into this game. Hard to believe when you see the talent he has as Dunnigan finds Streeter for a good gain into Hamilton territory down to the 41-yard line, a 16-yard advancement.
Well, watching Dunnigan throw the football, he looks as confident, I think, as I've ever seen him. 4-step drop. He knows the pressure is going to come because the offensive lineman did the cut block. They wanted to get the defensive hands down, knowing the ball should be thrown quickly.
Dunnigan with a 59% completion ratio coming into this game. Sack this time. Tracked down by Grover Covington. And if Covington gets credit for that sack, it'll be his first of the season.
Well, you know, Covington stays to the outside. It's a natural reaction to try if you got an inside move to take it. But because he stays to the outside and stays in front of the blocker, Dunnigan tries to escape. He just slides to that outside and takes away that sprint where Dunnigan has killed many a defenses.
Covington has played with a pulled hamstring. Actually, Skillman was the man who got to Dunnigan first, and Covington wasn't far behind. Dunnigan for David Williams. Hit very hard. They roll an incomplete pass. Williams was crushed.
Well, that's the type of contact you expect from a free safety, especially in the coverage that Scott Flagel was giving. And this is Scott Flagel at his best. When he was in Winnipeg, he was really a concern for a lot of receivers. Williams gets inside position, but he's coming into someone's territory, and boom, right here. That ball's caught, but if it isn't for Scott Flagel.
Flagel didn't play that way very often last year, and that's a big part of his game, but he's back to it this season and having an outstanding year through the first 3 games for the Ticats, and broke up what would have been a down pass for the BC Lions. Louis Pasaglia and a punt, but he'll take the time count violation. The Lions are a man short, and these are the kinds of mistakes that Larry Donovan talked with us about today, Neil. Mistakes made oftentimes by veteran players that are inexcusable in his view.
Well, you saw Larry Donovan say, get in the game. There's no time for chatting and fooling around on the sidelines. If you know there's an opportunity or when you should be going in, you should be ready, especially if you're only playing special teams. So that's 1/3 of the game, as everyone knows. But if that's the only chance you get to play, you better be ready.
3rd and about 22 for the Lions as Pasaglia kicking with the wind. Kicks it to Earl Winfield. And he won't find the room he spent quite a bit of time looking for. It just didn't develop. And he's down at the Hamilton 19-yard line. Winfield had 4 punt returns for touchdowns last year.
Well, he was welcomed with arms, obviously, by the fans, but by the teammates. He's very popular. And you see David Williams receiving some attention in that dugout area of the BC Lions bench after that hit. It's tough to see exactly what they're looking at, but they're looking at something on the right side.
Flagel hit him in the rib or stomach area. It's like they were looking at his arm. McAdoo on first down gets a couple of yards across the 20, perhaps to the 21. Mike Kerrigan starting at quarterback, and he's been there for all 4 Hamilton games with McAdoo and Tommy. Winfield back at wide receiver, Champion the other side, DiPietro and Estelle inside. And the offensive line for the second game, Brian Hutchings replacing the injured Ralph Schultz, who's out for the year. And Hutchings did well in Regina last week, his first CFL start. Al Bruno was very pleased with his play. 2nd and 8. Kerrigan throws, and this will be intercepted, and it'll go for a touchdown. Keith Gooch, as there was a miscommunication of some sort between Kerrigan and his receiver, it appeared, Neil.
Well, I don't think it's a miscommunication. I think Kerrigan is used to going back the 3 or 4 steps and throwing to an area, and that timing was off. I guess that's part of communication, but when you get used to throwing to an area in practice, you see he looks to the right, 3 steps, snaps that head around, and zips it in between the seams. Except the receiver was too far past. Tony Champion didn't even get a chance to recover. He falls, and Gooch playing that zone is the recipient.
The guy in the baseball cap.
Keith Gooch, 29 career interceptions now. He was cut by Hamilton back in 1983. Went to BC, and I would guess for that reason that one felt maybe just a little bit better. The convert makes it 14-7 for the BC Lions with 6:25 to go in the first quarter. Well, if they keep this pace up, we'll have a lot of points for you tonight. 6:25 left opening quarter. 14-7 the BC Lions. They've just scored on a Keith Gooch interception and 31-yard run for a touchdown, and Earl Winfield has the ball again. And he runs into 2 Lions at the 37-yard line. One of them was Marcus Thomas, and Ron Howard the other one.
When you have returners like Winfield and Zatilny, the special teams will work that much harder. And looking at Keith Gooch getting back to go into his corner spot, and I don't want to be too presumptuous because we still are in the first quarter, but this is the BC Lions we're used to seeing in the past. Score on offense, throw the ball deep, the run and gun type, and score on defense some way, somehow.
Big play, big plays. Lions haven't had, certainly not many on defense this year. They've had some on offense. Not enough on either side, as McAdoo on first down carries, finds room to the 40, hit hard down at the 43, but has close to 7 yards. Kevin Konar came across to make the stop. The BC defense, Quick Parker and Gino Mingo at the ends. Clausen and Moore. Mac Moore inside. The linebackers, Alondra Johnson, their leading tackler. Beasley, Jerry Beasley playing his first CFL game. Konar, Holloway, and Thomas and Howard playing different positions, and we'll explain that as we go along. 2nd down and 3. Hand off to McAdoo, and Mingo has him in the backfield and stops him for a loss. And the Lion defense, which surrendered 90 points in the first 3 games, is fired up tonight.
David Williams feeling a little bit better. I'm sure you see the right arm, that sleeve on it. Now what he has is a burn from the AstroTurf. Even though the turf is wet, you go down on it hard enough with the weight of your body, it's going to tear some skin off.
Talking about BC's secondary, Johnny Holloway is playing at the corner as Thomas played. Thomas is now inside where Drawhorn played. He's injured, and Ron Howard is replacing Larry Crawford, who was traded, as Osbaldiston kicks. And it's returned to the 43-yard line by Darrell Wallace. Sam Laux made the stop.
Sam Laux made the tackle.
Holding against the BC Lions on the return, which was for 8 yards on a 34-yard kick. And remember, Osbaldiston kicking into the wind in the first quarter.
Before the game, when we did the interview with Larry Donovan, it's funny, it was raining and real windy, and I said, you've got to wish that the rain
Holding, BC number 27. First down.
Would stop. I mean, does those types of things bother a coach? He says it can rain, it can snow. But the thing that bothers me most is the wind, because that can change the game.
Al Bruno's not bothered by much these days, although, again, he did say before that overconfident concern of his. He doesn't feel there's any particular reason for the Lions to be overconfident, but he just thinks it's a mental state that comes naturally with winning. As Matt Dunnigan completes another pass, Sonny Gordon making the stop. The Ticat defense anchored on the left side by Walker and Covington, Skillman and Lorenz. Join them on the front 4, Giftopoulos, Patterson, and Robinson, 2 veterans who Bruno says have played extremely well. And then in the secondary, the rookies Gordon and Jordan around veterans Flagle, Shields, and Rockford. second down for the Lions and 6 yards to go from their 28-yard line. But there was some early movement, and somebody will be assessed 5 yards.
I think Jamie Buis moved a little early when he saw the potentially blitzing linebacker go in that gray area.
BC number 69. Still second down.
And then he pulls out. See, he's going to jump in and out. And they'll do this all night. And that one jump, then coming back out, Jamie Buis reacted instead of the snap count.
Frank Robinson, 9th year in the CFL. Dunnigan puts it up long. There's a flag down, and Streeter can't catch up to it. In the center field area, it was a 2nd and 11 throw by Dunnigan. But this time it's offside Hamilton, so the Lions will be back where they started at 2nd down and 6.
Offside. Hamilton number 61.
Offside on the play.
Still second down.
Who would have thought Hamilton would be 3-0 and Grover Covington and Rod Skillman would have no sacks and Mike Walker would have 1 in those first 3 games.
And those generally are quick starters with Walker and Covington, Skillman, and I think we're going to see more sacks as the year goes on.
Another penalty flag as Dunnigan completes the pass, but Hamilton defenders had quit on the play as the whistle blew. Procedure this time, so it'll be 5 against the Lions, who came into the game with 42 penalties. That's 14 a game. They took far too many last year. Larry Donovan said a priority.
Still second down.
A priority this year, Kevin Powell, the left tackle, was called for that penalty. A priority was to cut down on the number of penalties, but they haven't been successful so far.
And I can't figure out, it must be just simply a concentration slipping a little bit. An offensive lineman knows his snap count. Defensive lineman watches the football.
Dunnigan, quarterback draw. And he's tripped up just as he crossed the line, down after a gain of 5, and then a penalty flag comes down. Could be for a late hit.
Hamilton called for tripping, possibly a defensive lineman being taken down, swung the legs around his when he saw Dunnigan go by.
Tripping. Hamilton number 90. Still second down.
Well, watch for some legs right there. Giftopoulos was tied up. He tried to move and swing his body. Couldn't get a hand on him, so he thought he'd try to leg whip him or hook him. With some success, only he was caught.
Pete Giftopoulos, who is still considered a rookie by Al Bruno. He got into a few games last year, but a starter this year and playing well. 2nd and short, and the Lions do not get it.
Well, that play starts with Daryl Patterson, the middle linebacker, moving to the left side, and then getting up quick penetration. See, he's in before Cherry really gets a chance to have a block made by Jamie Terrace's fullback. Just congestion slowed it down, and the rest of the guys came in and helped out.
Another veteran along with Frank Robinson in there is Louis Pasaglia, 35 years of age, in his 14th year since being a first-round draft pick in 1976. Will punt with the wind. And Earl Winfield will catch it at the 41-yard line and get to about the 46 or the 47. Well, before the game, we chatted with Earl Winfield, who's back with the Ticats, and he talked about his experience in the NFL with San Francisco.
It was a good experience, first of all. I got to see some great players play, and I learned a lot down there. But in the NFL is very political, and everything has to be just right in order for you to make that team. It just didn't work out for me this time, and, you know, it was more of a personal thing that I wanted to go down there and try out. Like I said, it didn't work out, so I'm back here.
And the Hamilton Tiger Cats are glad he's back. He has scored a touchdown already tonight. Kerrigan looking for DiPietro, but the pass a little bit low, and Rocky couldn't get down and pull it up. 2:22 first quarter, 14-7, BC leading Hamilton.
You see Mike Kerrigan pointing at his chest like, that's my fault. I should have had the ball up a little bit higher. Even though the wind has subsided a little bit, when you throw the ball out into the flat like that, the wind will push the ball down just that much, and I think it was just that much there that DiPietro couldn't catch it.
And you wouldn't say Kerrigan has a gun for an arm, so the wind will have even more effect. He is a finesse passer. And this one is well over the head of Richard Estelle, the intended receiver, who Feels perhaps he was interfered with on that pattern.
Well, you talked earlier, Bob, about Ron Howard now in the lineup playing where Larry Crawford used to be. He's going to take Estelle and give him a jam right here. Now that jam slows Estelle down just enough so he's not in the area where Kerrigan is throwing the football. Howard known for his aggressive play, both on receivers coming off the ball and coming up and smacking people.
Only been in camp a few days after being released earlier this year by the Edmonton. Third down and 10. Ticats at their 47 as ball is going to kick into the wind. A low short kick, not a bad bounce though. Wallace nowhere to go on the return. Stopped at the 43, a 30-yard punt by Paul Osbaldiston.
Mark Wallace on the tackle.
Mark Wallace is a running back, an import running back, a rookie. He's dressed for every game this season from Missouri as Al Bruno heads down the sideline to have a chat with some of his players. Lions from their 34. Dunnigan throwing, completing to Streeter, breaks a tackle. Looking for a block from Williams. Now we'll see if he can outrun the Hamilton defender. Shields gets him at the Ticat 30-yard line.
Just an awfully well executed play by the BC Lions. Dunnigan's going to come out. He's going to look to his right 3 steps, and he's going to zip that ball in as Streeter makes his cut. The coverage is right there. Rockford couldn't do anything else. Then Streeter just has a heck of an effort coming back underneath. Giftopoulos almost gets a hand on him.
46-yard gain, and the Lions really look like an inspired football team tonight, and they haven't played inspired all season. Tony Cherry, a little swing pass from Dunnigan. He gets inside the Hamilton 25. They mark him down at the 24-yard gain for a gain of 7.
Well, when we did the first game with the BC Lions this year, Larry Donovan had said flat out, I want to get Tony Cherry the ball, not only handing it to him, but in the flat, up the seams, whatever way we can, because he's so dangerous. I think they've got away from that a bit because he was a little bit nicked. Sore knee, but he's supposedly 100% tonight.
9 touchdowns in 12 games last year, and Cherry has the ball again, gets a good block, gets around and steps out of bounds at the Hamilton 18. That's enough for a BC first down with 23 seconds left in the first quarter. Cherry's goal this year was to run for 1,300 yards, and he'll have to go some after the slow start, but he's certainly capable.
Oh, there's without question a good block on Giftopoulos to the outside. If that Giftopoulos isn't knocked down, he makes the play on Cherry. That isn't the case, and Cherry reaches and gets the first down at the marker.
What excitement Cherry provided last season down that stretch when BC won 5 of its last 6 games. He was something else. Dunnigan gets away from the first pressure and then puts it up for David Williams, but he cannot get loose from Lance Shields to go after the ball.
Well, it's a coach's concern anytime your quarterback goes one way and his backside isn't protected. In that particular situation, Matt Dunnigan, looking to throw the ball earlier, didn't get a chance, so he had to improvise a bit. Keep the ball alive, which he does so well.
You know, Donovan told us that Dunnigan is fighting the urge to do it all by himself, and it's something he has to work on. But the other side of that is he's capable of taking you to victory almost by himself, and that's the positive side of it. Speaking of positive, you'd have to call that defensive play by Hamilton a positive one, with Darrell Patterson leading the way. And on that high note, the first quarter ends with Hamilton 7 points down. Second quarter will begin with the BC Lions 3rd down and 20 from the Hamilton 34. Pasaglia will try a field goal. He is now kicking into a fairly strong wind. Has the distance though and the accuracy, and it's now a 17-7 lead for the BC Lions.
When I talked with Louis Pasaglia before the game, he was out reading a book in one of the bench areas. This is about an hour and a half before the game, and I asked him the question, the most important things for you as a kicker, and I was expecting something like mechanical, make sure my left foot's right and the follow through and all that kind of stuff. He said the first thing is being confident in his own ability. The second is he knows when he kicks the ball it's going to go through, so I guess there's no temptation to peek. And the third is the confidence in the 11 other fellows, his snapper, his holder, knowing that that protection is going to be there.
Louis is now 6 out of 8 on the season. And he has now kicked 446 career field goals. That's a lot of field goals. And it's 18 behind the all-time leader, Dave Cutler. Wally Zatilny, we were looking at, returned a punt for a touchdown in Regina last week to help Hamilton beat the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Well, that's a pretty good tag team back there now that Hamilton has it with Winfield back, with Zatilny and his quickness, and of course we all know what Earl Winfield can do.
And he has the football and has had it a lot tonight. And breaks to the outside. Pasaglia giving chase and forces him out at the BC 39.
As we've seen from all very good punt returners, be it Gizmo Williams, Larry Crawford, he has the ability to change speeds. He's slow here, he'll accelerate up through here, then gear down again just a little bit, and then explode to the outside.
Going to make Winfield earn his money this first game back, aren't they?
He'll be tired by half.
Winfield has scored a touchdown, and it's the only one Hamilton has. They trail 17-7. We're not quite a minute into the second quarter. Kerrigan throws complete to Richard Estelle at the 25, knocked out at the 21-yard line of the BC Lions.
I think to this point the BC Lions have been successful in what they wanted to do, throw Mike Kerrigan off a little bit, get him out of his smooth rhythm that he's been so successful with. But those types of plays, quick to the flats, that's how he will get back into that rhythm and hurt you.
Kerrigan picked off in the first quarter by Keith Gooch for a BC touchdown, but has the Ticats now in scoring territory at the BC 22. Couldn't find his man on the left side, came back the other way, tried to get it to Jed Tommy, but threw it just a little bit low. Tommy was open, and that's the second time tonight Kerrigan has had an open man and thrown the ball low.
Well, that's frustrating for both Kerrigan and Jed Tommy, because he knew his responsibility to pick up a linebacker was gone. He can release to the flat to try to spread those linebackers out in coverage to make them go a little bit wider so the middle might open up. But that could have been not only a first down, but a touchdown for them.
Instead, it's 2nd and 10 at the BC 22. And looking for Winfield was Kerrigan. The fans boo. Kerrigan runs downfield. Winfield made some contact with the defender, but that doesn't always mean a penalty should be called.
Well, Kerrigan might have a pretty good case there. There was some good contact with Marcus Thomas, 29 of the Lions, and Winfield just short of the goal line. And if, in fact, that ball was in the air when that contact took place, Al Bruno and Mike Kerrigan have a pretty good case.
Paul Osbaldiston had a rough night in Regina last week. 1 for 5, but the Ticats won. He'll try from the 29 with the wind at his back, and Todd Dillon holding. And Osbaldiston has this one through there, and it's now BC 17, Hamilton 10, and we're not quite 2 minutes into the second quarter.
Well, playing both ways, special teams and offense, Carinci 27 just rips Mark Wallace and really sets up the return. And I think we have a cheerleader here on the sidelines dressed as a coach. Where is he? Larry Donovan. There's good vertical jump.
Jamie Terrace carries on first down from the Hamilton 35 after that 46-yard punt return by Darrell Wallace. Earl Winfield ran one back 43 yards a couple of minutes ago that set up a Hamilton field goal and gave Ticats their 8th, 9th, and 10th points as they trail 17-10. Donovan has animated Neil as we have seen him in the last year and a half.
I think he's excited because the team that he has with the talent that he has is due to break open.
Donegan wide open to Carinci at the 25. Stopped by Sonny Gordon at the 23-yard line.
Pass complete to Carinci.
But that's a 12-yard gain.
Gordon made the tackle.
Well, the BC Lion offense tonight, and you can see the way the players are lined up there. A number of changes from that Grey Cup game of last November. Clarkson's gone, Leckie and Murray are hurt, and Anthony Parker is hurt. So they have 4 changes in the starting lineup that played in the Grey Cup game. Only one of them by design. And they didn't want to lose Clarkson, but he went to the National Football League. Dunnigan does well to get the pass away. Are they calling it a completion and a fumble? Yeah, they are. The Ticats have it at their 24.
Said one of the reasons his football team is successful early is because the young guys are playing well. Tim Lorenz comes up, forces Dunnigan to throw early, and Sonny Gordon out of Ohio State, his first year, just puts a great hit on him. Watch Lorenz chase him down. He's a runner.
Didn't look like the receiver had possession, but that's the way it was ruled. And Frank Robinson with a fumble recovery, and the Ticats turn back a BC scoring threat to take over at their 24-yard line. Derek McAdoo will swing pass from Kerrigan, and he'll lose big yards. Actually, they'll mark him at the 18-yard line for a loss of 5 or 6. Here's the BC defense tonight, and we'll illustrate again all the changes that they've made since the Grey Cup game last year. The players highlighted are here, half their defense. Ballard was cut. Belway is a backup now. Stewman, of course, Braswell and Francis all gone to Edmonton, and Drawhorn is injured. So the BC Lions and Larry Donovan, the last thing you want to do when you come off a good season is have to make a lot of changes, and he, for a variety of reasons, has had to.
And they're not just ordinary changes, as Richard Estelle gets a helping hand off. And these guys, Stewman and Braswell, these are big-time players that are have been very successful, and they're impact players. And it's a change is one thing, but changes like that can hurt you.
Well, we talked at length about the departure of Stewman as Richard Estelle works his left arm, and what an enormous absence that is,
both on and off the field.
Shotgun formation for Kerrigan on 2nd and 16 for Winfield, and it's no good. There's a flag down. Gooch with very close coverage, and it'll be ruled too close, I believe.
Well, Gooch is reacting to the football once it's thrown by Kerrigan.
Forward pass interference. BC number 18. First down.
And we see a new wrinkle with the Ticats coming on shotgun. Gives Kerrigan a little bit more time to see what's going on downfield. And you be the judge. Cut straight inside. Gooch is going to come up. And he moves on the football. And I'd say that's pretty good coverage. And not really interference.
That's about as marginal as a pass interference call would get, I would imagine. It gives Hamilton a first down at their 35. McAdoo runs up to the 40 into the 41-yard line for a gain of 6. You know, those defensive backs have to be wondering what they can and what they can't do, because interference is strictly a judgment call. You can't write down on a piece of paper this is interference and nothing else is, because it's a judgment call.
No, and it makes it even tougher when you got guys like Gooch and Holloway out on the corner, and they're all alone to begin with, so they don't get an awful lot of help.
2nd down and 5. Ticats, they're 41. Kerrigan, quick pass, Estelle to the 51. 10-yard gain and a Hamilton first down. 6:22 left in the first half. BC 17, Hamilton 10.
Classic Mike Kerrigan, 2 steps, and before he's even got that ball in his hands, he's looking downfield and reading what linebackers and where their drops are going, and receivers doing the same, reading and making the adjustments.
Kerrigan is champion wide right. Winfield splits left. And he's going long for champion. And it's knocked away. Johnny Holloway with good coverage on Tony Champion. Holloway, a rookie.
And really the first time we've seen him tested in a one-on-one situation. From Kansas University, he was a 9th-round pick by the Dallas Cowboys. He played 5 games last year with the Cardinals, and they're high on him. But another situation, if there was no injury problem, would the BC Lions put him in now to the lineup?
Probably not. He'd be a young guy they'd work with and wait for. He was a wide receiver in college. I think he has a lot of potential. But he's been forced into action. 2nd and 10. Kerrigan from his 51. Throws for Estelle. And there was lots of contact there with Marcus Thomas. But again, the defensive back has a right to play the football.
And react to when the football is thrown, and as you said, and get to it, just like the receiver does.
And doesn't necessarily have to stay out of the way of the receiver
But that's where that judgment is.
That's right.
And I'm glad I'm not the one down there making the call.
Paulus Balston on 3rd and 10, kicking with the wind. Mark Moores will send it back. His only job to snap on 3rd down, and he is one of the best. Wallace. Lorenz looked like he was clipped, but there's no flag as Wallace breaks it. Darrell Wallace turns it back the other way, and he is going to score. .93 yards for Darrell Wallace.
An outstanding effort, but at the point of attack, 64, Lorenz gets hit from behind by Peter Vandenbos. The head was behind the shoulders. That's a clip. To take nothing away from this outstanding return. Everyone's working downfield. He cuts back when he sees an opening. Lee Knight still in pursuit, the last one to have a shot. But no one was close. Graduate from Missouri, showed his abilities right there, and some of the things that I guess allowed him to make this football team in training camp.
Al Bruno and Joe Zuger will be packaging that clip up and sending it to the CFL head office. But the touchdown stands, and so does the convert, and the BC Lions now lead 24-10 with 5 minutes left in the first half. A procedure call, so Pisaglia will have to attempt the convert again.
Well, you know, at the best of times, Al Bruno always has a comment about the referees, and that goes back to that big game in Toronto where that interference call put them out of the playoffs.
Procedure, BC number 91. The penalty will be applied on the kickoff. The convert is good.
5 minutes to halftime, and the enjoy a 14-point lead. Wally Zatilny, one of the kick returners for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, looks on with 2:50 left in the first half, and BC leading 24-13. Kick returning has played a big role in this first half, with Darrell Wallace returning 193 yards for a BC touchdown. Lions now from their 34. Cherry carrying. They made the first down just before we broke away, but Cherry will lose a yard with Frank Robinson in the backfield to get him.
A number of times this evening, Hamilton has been able to get through, penetrate quickly. Watch how Grover Covington, 3 yards in the backfield, he takes on Jamie Terrace, forces Cherry to pick one side or the other. Robinson sitting back behind, reads the cut, and makes the tackle.
2nd and 11 from the BC 33. Donegan fakes, throws for Williams, diving. They say catch it at the 45. 2 referees wave it off. Williams in disagreement. His opinion won't be taken into consideration, and the Lions will have to punt.
Well, the play starts to one side. They're bootlegging back. Offense pulls a lineman, a personal protector for Donegan, but he gets that ball in the right spot, low to the outside, so there's no chance for the defender to knock it away. Just a little bit too low.
Benefit of the replay. Almost looked like he caught that football. Well, it did look like he caught the football. Not almost. Looked like he caught it. But BC will punt on 3rd down and 11 from their 33. Zatilny at the 48, and he stopped at center field when it looked like things were opening up for him. Rob Moretto made the tackle.
Well, the BC Lions, too, I think, try to help their special teams a bit, dress 7 backers, Moretto being one of them. And that's going to strengthen your special teams because of the linebacker running back situation that they have. And now that because you dress 7, only 3 of them are going to start, so 4 of them, again, that's where that extra help comes from.
Peter, good hit.
Moretto, a native of Burnaby, BC, stopping Zatilny, but the Ticats with good field position at the BC 54. This is Champion with the ball, and he's to the 47 for a gain of 7. A minute 59 left in the first half. BC ahead 24-13.
would think the presence of Earl Winfield back in the offensive lineup is going to help the other receivers too. Take some of the pressure off of a guy like Champion. They can't afford now to just pay attention to one receiver with Winfield, Champion, and DiPietro Estelle in there.
2nd and 3. Kerrigan wants to throw. Richard Estelle is open at the 40 and can't get away from the cornerback on that side, Johnny Holloway. Hamilton, first down.
I've been impressed by the secondary of the Lions tonight, especially Ron Howard, Marcus Thomas, and Holloway, who have really been thrown into a tough situation. All that's going on with the football club and the ownership situation and needing a win. They've played man-to-man coverage very tightly and been very solid on their tackling.
Howard and Holloway new to the lineup. Thomas playing inside instead of on the corner. Kerrigan for Winfield. Nice catch. BC 29-yard line within about a foot of a Hamilton first down.
But Winfield working to the inside, then he's going to break out. He's got good position. Holloway's respecting his speed, and rightfully so. You don't mind if he catches it underneath. The last thing you want to let him do with just 1:20 left in the half is let him go behind you.
Kind of looks like the same Earl Winfield we enjoyed watching so much last year, doesn't he?
Yeah, maybe even better.
2nd down and about a half a yard. Pardon me, at the Lion 29. Hand off to Jed Tommy on the right side. He's throwing back, but his forward advancement, I believe, got him the first down.
Well, we're seeing more signs of why the BC Lions are happy with Alondra Johnson. Playing that middle pretty well. He's not overly big, 5'11", 215 pounds from West Texas State University, but he gets to the point of attack very quickly.
Here comes 90. Here comes 90.
Larry Donovan
break the rhythm,
has been animated. He's been noisy. The head coach of the BC Lions telling his defense to break Kerrigan's rhythm. Derek McAdoo, right side. Still going. McAdoo to the 10-yard line.
That's a little bit late developing. Hand off to the backside, almost like a slow sweep, but a great angle here. Watch everyone gets a helmet on somebody. Downfield blocking. Give him a lane. Winfield's working on Holloway downfield. Pins Holloway to the inside, and McAdoo's ability to break tackles, one of the reasons he started this year over anybody else.
53 seconds left in the first half. BC ahead 24-13, but the Ticats first and goal. McAdoo hit hard at the line. Alondra Johnson stopped him. Quick Parker was there too. And McAdoo will gain close to 2 yards.
Straight handoff power play. Fullback's going to lead inside. You see Tommy pins his man, but pursuit by Konar, Alondra Johnson, Beasley. They've gone to the ball better tonight defensively than they have all year.
2nd and goal. Ticats at the BC 8. Champion touchdown.
Kerrigan simply going a short drop, looked all the way, and he's throwing at a spot in the end zone the Champion has to get to, and get to he does.
Perfect throw by Mike Kerrigan, who is now 9 out of 19 on the night. He's almost back at 50%. He has all of a sudden got hot. The convert added by Osbaldiston, and all of a sudden it's a 4-point game. BC 24 and Hamilton 20. Tony's second touchdown of the year. I was talking about how Kerrigan didn't look like he had that rhythm and timing and all the rest of it that's so critical to him, but bang, it's right back.
Well, it's not only right back, but he's throwing this ball well before Champion has looked or turned the corner to go to that point in the end zone. Quarterbacks and receivers stay out after practice and work on those types of plays for 10-15 minutes each day. And that's why you can throw the ball to the area and not have to see the receiver open. You know he's going to be there because you know what he's going to do to get open.
And they don't get much harder for a cornerback to defend against in that kind of play. If the ball is perfectly thrown, it's virtually impossible to break it up, because you have to concede the receiver at least a half a step.
And even if your coverage is as tight right in his hip pocket, he can explode and accelerate away from you. And if he does that acceleration, the ball's there, what can the defensive back do?
Has this been a fun first half?
Oh, and a great one.
At all. Cherry with 24 seconds left in the half. Out to the 39-yard line of the BC Lions. 19 seconds for Matt Dunnigan to perhaps try to get into field goal range or to just run out the clock and take the lead to the dressing room.
I don't know. That good return by Cherry, you'd have to think the success that the Lions have had on certain situations, that they might as well move down, go for some more points. Why not? Can't be passive. Got to get after it.
I don't disagree. If they can complete 2 passes and they have time for that, they'll give Pasaglia a shot at a field goal. Dunnigan hands off to Cherry. And he's up to the 46, maybe the 47 for 7 or 8 yards. 14 seconds left. That used 5. BC could take a timeout here and stop the clock, but they won't. So this, barring a penalty, final play of the first half, and the Lions will be content to go into the dressing room with a lead, a 4-point lead. Dunnigan puts it out to David Williams, who gets about 7 or 8 extra yards after the reception into Hamilton territory. That play ends the first half, a good one. BC. Matt Dunnigan had a very good first half. 10 out of 15, 164 yards. And a touchdown pass to David Williams early in the game. Now, when a team is losing, the quarterback, of course, always comes into focus. The Lions 0-3, but Dunnigan engineered 37 points one night and they lost, so you can only attach so much. Carinci on the receiving end of a Dunnigan throw for a gain of 6 BC yards.
Well, just simply a slight roll to the short side of the field. Carinci starting at that slot back spot. He's going to go and try to release to the outside. 5 steps, runs parallel to that line. A little wave to say I'm open, and then takes a shot. First down play, 6-7 yards. Just what the doctor ordered.
Carinci traded to BC with Walter Ballard for Nick Hebler and Kerry Parker by Toronto a few years ago. Cherry on 2nd and 3, and he gets the first down, diving across center field to the Hamilton 53-yard line. Well, this is the real Tony Cherry that we're seeing tonight. He had a bit of a knee problem early. Larry Donovan had an interesting comment, Neil. He said Cherry was trying to take everything outside and take it all the way instead of popping through those holes on the inside of the field.
Well, and it's popping through those holes and breaking a couple of tackles and then having a defensive man back off a little bit is in long runs last year because he's so explosive.
From the Hamilton 53, Dunnigan throws and has Cherry open down to the 47-yard line. Sonny Gordon made the stop. And a gain of 7 or 8 yards.
Al Bruno told us about the new guys in his football team and the difference that they've made. And BC again going into that roll situation, trying to get the ball to Cherry any which way they can. This time it's in the flat. But Bruno puts a lot of the emphasis on the players and how they perform. Not so much the veterans, but the rookies like Stephan Jordan and Sonny Gordon, the 2 inside halfbacks.
2nd down and almost 5 yards to go. The ball at the Hamilton 48. Dunnigan faking. Stephan Jordan coming, and he sacks Dunnigan.
From the short side of the field, backside, I've told you earlier, you've got to protect your quarterback. The quick read, the high. But it wasn't there, so he pulls up and keeps going back. And you see him slip just a bit. Even though Jordan's in good position and the sack is there, that Ticat logo at center field is painted, and when it gets wet, it's very slippery.
Lou Pasaglia will punt. 4-point BC lead. And it's blocked by Flegel. And the Ticats have a touchdown.
Flegel just tiptoes his way through and then jumps between the two personal protectors. Then makes a good move by taking out of the play, seeing that Shields is on the football or one of his other teammates, and giving them a chance to pick it up on the run and take it in.
A 31-yard touchdown run by Lance Shields after Scott Flegel came up the middle between two blockers and was able to block the punt. And Hamilton is in front by 3, 27-24. 2 minutes, 39 seconds into the second half, and Hamilton has taken the lead for the first time in the game, 27-24. A Lance Shields 31-yard touchdown run after Scott Flegel blocked a Lou Pasaglia punt. And the kickoff at the 20-yard line. This is Wallace. He returned the punt 93 yards for a touchdown. He's back out to the 41-yard line of the BC Lions.
Bob, you know, we talked about when you're the only kicker, you haven't got a partner that does the punting or the place kicking. There's no one else to go and talk to. And Lou Pasaglia feels the pressure of that punt being blocked. Scott Flegel, 14, left side. He's going to come in. Wallace, 25, has to step up and smack him. They push him away. Flegel's too good of an athlete to let him jump around. Step up and meet him and knock him back.
Lance Shields scored 3 touchdowns last year and has a big one tonight. Dunnigan throws to Streeter, complete up at the 49. Gain of 9 yards. Well, the Lions had scored 74 points in their first 3 games, but had given up 90. There's Darrell Wallace. I'm not sure he should be suggesting he's number 1 at this stage. Scott Flegel, the man who blocked it. And again, we see Flegel do something, Neil, that he's been good at over the years, and that's get close to punts. Didn't do much of it last year. Cherry carries on second and short and gets the first down to the 51 of BC.
Quite simple. Jamie Terrace leading out of an I formation and trying to get a crack for Tony Cherry, as he did.
Larry Donovan has been in a very excited mood along the sidelines, but subdued now after that breakdown. Dunnigan on first down. Throws long for David Williams, open. Gets away from one man. Nice move. Williams will score. Oh. Well, that is just sheer talent.
Well, Larry Donovan told us today in our meeting he was going to challenge the coverage regardless of what it was with Williams. And again, Dunnigan in a semi-roll throws the ball to the outside. Williams can adjust to it. It's over Rockford. And this move right here we saw last year when he did the same thing against the Edmonton Eskimos. That back step, almost like the Michael Jackson moonwalk, and then slides to the outside. Great throw by Dunnigan in a super adjustment and run by Williams.
Second touchdown of the night for David Williams. And maybe the prettiest touchdown of the night by anybody. Wallace's 93-yard punt return wasn't bad, and Winfield with a 56-yard pass and run play. This one puts BC back in front by 3, 4:20 into the second half. A minute 55 to go in the third quarter. Hamilton 34, BC 31. And Tony Cherry on first down, finding absolutely no running room at all.
Good look at Moretto from the outside. Maybe not the guy that you would pick to block the punt on the defense of the punt return team of the BC Lions. But he did exactly what he's supposed to. And Lorenz and Skillman just literally stuffed the point of attack.
Dunnigan throws to David Williams, complete at the 38 of Hamilton, and that's where he stopped fighting for yardage. Stephon Jones and Sonny Gordon brought him down.
Well, there's a little bit of action. Too many receivers in one spot. See Williams off the ball slowly, looking for that inside receiver probably to clear up the field. Cherry was hit at the line by Frank Robinson, couldn't get up, and Williams really had to just sort of slide in and gear right down so Dunnigan could get him the ball.
David Williams said earlier this week, we haven't been beaten yet. We have beaten ourselves in the first 3 games. Dunnigan throwing it long. was nowhere near the intended receiver, who had turned to the outside and the pass thrown inside. Matt Dunnigan has led the Lions to 31 points, although one of the touchdowns on a kick return, but wondering undoubtedly what they have to do to win a game, and they have every opportunity to win this one, but are 3 points down despite having scored 31. Dunnigan 16 out of 23 passes for 266 yards, and we still have 30 seconds left in the third. Dunnigan looks at a 2nd and 10 from the Hamilton 33 and throws for guess who? David Williams. Touchdown! How spectacular was that? Just when you think you've seen it all from David Williams, we get a falling down, one-handed catch.
Well, I would have put $1 on the table that Jordan made the good defensive play, but watch how he focuses on the ball. The ball's going to be tipped. He keeps it alive. There it is, the left hand, and just scoops it. Phenomenal.
I'm speechless. That was just special. Real special. Oh, 37-34 BC.
That really was. You're right. That was special. That's a great way to describe it.
Casaglia's convert will pale badly in comparison.
A lot of things will, Bob.
38-34 BC. Yeah, we should look at that one more time.
Well, receivers certainly can make a quarterback's day, and I think in this situation, David Williams with burned right arm and all, receiving some congratulations from Quick Parker. And Dunnigan just throws it right in the hole. But, I mean, what a great defensive play by Jordan, coming underneath and timing the tip. But Williams, spectacular. Dunnigan just keeping his balance, backing straight out, getting a good view of what the secondary's doing. And what do you think he thinks of this catch? It took a second. That second was where the tip ball.
He says no problem.
Yeah, it was never a question.
It was David Williams at the other end of it. So that Smith is 71. The slotback Phil Smith playing his first game. But it's been a bit of a David Williams show. 3 touchdowns, 5 catches, 149 yards.
Look at that average.
Oh, 38-34. And we haven't even reached the 4th quarter yet. Casaglia kicks off. Zatilny trying to swing it around to the left, but he was stopped in his efforts to do that by Paul Wetmore, a rookie linebacker for BC.
Wetmore, backup linebacker that Larry Donovan feels is going to be a good one, a starter, great athletic ability. And one of those guys on the special teams that you need. See how he does a nice job of keeping his hands in front of him to keep the blocker away from him. So, in fact, when the ball comes to his direction, he can get off the block.
2nd-round draft pick out of Acadia, Paul Wetmore. Well, now it's up to Mike Kerrigan to see if he can once again answer Matt Dunnigan.
Might be whoever has the ball last.
Yeah. Last play of the 3rd quarter here, barring a penalty, and a reverse. Earl Winfield gets a block from Kerrigan. Turns it upfield to the 45 for a gain of 8. Well, I'm pleased to tell you we have 15 minutes still. Jimmy Young, former BC great, hired as receivers coach this year. Next to him, Joe Powpow, the quarterback and running back coach of the BC Lions. Hamilton from its 52. Kerrigan quickly to Champion, who has 2 touchdowns and has a first down and then some out of bounds at the BC 38-yard line. Neil, the wind has not been a big factor in this game. A fairly significant breeze, but it's starting to become so now.
Well, and just punting back and forth, Hamilton's been able to advance the ball about 15 yards, so their starting point is better. And in this case, when you can start from midfield and get a quick hitch pass to Tony Champion, turn that into a big game, that's not bad.
From the 38 of BC, Hamilton 1st and 10. McAdoo on the carry. And he was hit by Gino Mingo and stopped for a gain of a yard or 2.
I've been impressed with the Lions front 4 and their linebackers with Konar and Beasley on the outside have closed down the gap when the Ticats have tried to run. They kept that area and folded the backside in, not allowing McAdoo to cut back and go wide.
McAdoo's carried 14 times for 63 yards. Solid night. 2nd and 9. Ticats, BC 37. Kerrigan going long for Winfield, but he wasn't able to get loose and go after the ball properly, as Kerrigan is held for a 3 count by Ronnie Howard.
Well, McAdoo and Ron Howard. Howard from the wide side of the field on his halfback spot blitzes. McAdoo's responsibility if his linebacker doesn't come number 1, pick up the extra man. That happened to be Howard. So then a couple of words exchanged there.
I thought it was Kerrigan. Howard wouldn't have held Kerrigan down that long. He wouldn't do that to a quarterback.
Well, you see him right there. McAdoo does a good job of stepping inside, taking one man, and boy, he put a lick on Ron Howard. He's blocking 2 men on 1 play.
Paul Baldiston will try a 43-yard field goal. Perfect night so far. Dillon puts it down as Baldiston. Lots of distance and right through there. And it's now 38-37 BC early in the 4th quarter. Touchdown passes. BC with a 1-point lead over Hamilton. 10 minutes, 58 seconds left in the 4th quarter. And Paul Baldiston to kick off after kicking a 43-yard field goal. And he drives this one to Cherry at the 5. Tony Cherry back to the 35. This crowd at Ivor Wynne has been on their feet since the beginning of the game, or at least since about the 4.5-minute mark when Kerrigan hit Earl Winfield with a 56-yard pass and run touchdown.
Well, it's the type of game where the fans, if they're not standing all the time, are just ready to leap, so they're on the edge, because the game's been filled with big plays.
Good crowd at Ivor Wynne, too.
And there should be. They're a good football team.
We don't have the number, but we'll let you know. 1st and 10 Lions from their 33, now with a 1-point lead. Dunnigan for Streeter, and he can't quite get there at the Hamilton 40-yard line. Now with Jim Rockford out of there, Dunnigan has decided that he's going to really go to work on that secondary of the Ticats. Not that he felt any different when Rockford was in there.
Well, again, to remind everyone, the adjustment they made was they brought Donahue Grant, number 7, in, and he's playing the halfback spot, and Stephan George, number 12, is going to the corner spot.
2nd and 10 Lions at their 33. 4 receivers to the left. Dunnigan by Mike Walker and Patterson. Looked a bit like a quarterback draw, maybe.
Well, I think it looked a lot like one on. And Mike Walker, that defensive line of the Ticats are doing a nice job of coming off and then taking a look and reading Dunnigan. You see the back to his left comes through, gets a block, but Walker has no part of it and collapses it down with Daryl Patterson up in the play again.
Talking about the fact that Mike Walker had only 1 sack coming into this game, but what a game he has played. And sometimes you're getting misleading information when you determine a lineman's play based only on sacks. Bisaglia kicking into the wind. This is a good kick, but the wind still holds it up. Winfield hit at the 50. No yards. Will be assessed against the BC Lions, and that'll put the ball to the BC 50-yard line. That's about 50 now for the Lions tonight.
I think that's the type of penalty Larry Donovan is saying, lack of discipline. Not coming down and realizing where you are. Don't try to make the big play and hurt your football team.
BC leading by a point. 9:20 left, 4th quarter. Kerrigan fakes. Look at all the room Kerrigan has. Now there's a play that caught the Lions by surprise, because Mike Kerrigan just never runs with the ball.
But when he got a head of steam up, he rolled out. He kept running. There was absolutely no question that he was going to pull up and try to throw the ball. When he gets a head of steam, it's not too bad. Good play action fake coming to the one side. Fakes to McAdoo, and there it is on the hip. You see everybody in the backfield going that way. It's got Winfield down. He steps in and throws a block. But it's a 1st down.
Lions maybe thought they'd seen all the wrinkles in the Hamilton offense. Not quite. 1st and 10 Ticats, BC 32. The pass to Winfield, no good. Tight coverage. Gooch hitting Winfield just as the ball arrived.
Well, we'll go back to what we said a few minutes ago. Every time the ball's been punted to Hamilton, they've made 5 or 6 yards with both offenses really doing nothing. This time they started at the BC Lion 50. Before, it was their own 50. Here's a pretty good lick put in by Keith Gooch. His timing has been close all night, and that's what you have to do to a receiver like Winfield. Stick to him like glue.
Gooch is on Winfield again. 2nd and 10, Ticats at the BC 32. Kerrigan for Champion. Diving catch at the 2-yard line. They rule him down at the 1.
A spectacular catch. Both backs go to the left, straight drop. Watch out, Champion dives, but doesn't out till he has to. There's no sense in running with your arms out and extended. Champion waits to the right time and then puts him out, and that doesn't slow him down one bit.
Champion denied his 3rd touchdown of the night, but he'll settle for the spectacular play he made that very possibly will set up a Hamilton touchdown. 1st and goal. McAdoo hit hard. Did he get across? Yes, he did. Touchdown. But a penalty flag is down, and there's a fight going on as well.
Offside. BC number 91. Fine.
Gene Mingle was offside. The touchdown by McAdoo stands.
McAdoo takes the hit and then uses the momentum of the hit and the backpedaling to drive him in, and then you'll see what happens. As Beasley makes the hit, they're face to face. I'm sure a little bit of chatter followed up after that. McAdoo getting help off by Ray Jones, the athletic therapist of the Tiger Cats.
Well, this is the kind of night that's murder on coaches. I mean, Bruno and Donovan.
You got to be biting your nails tonight.
Running a gamut of the emotions tonight as Baldiston adds the convert. And it is now Hamilton 44 and BC 38. We're at Iverwin Stadium where the fans are on their feet as the Ticats have moved in front of BC 44-38 with 7.5 minutes left in the game. Tony Cherry with a kickoff return. Look out! As Baldiston at the 54 of BC makes the tackle. A 52-yard run back.
Well, the explosiveness of Cherry, and I'm sure Al Bruno is aware of that every time he gets the football. But this will really be the first time that the Lions have good field position. That kick drops him all the way back to his 2-yard line. And here you go. Boom, right up the middle. He makes a cut, goes to the outside. And if it's not for Paulus Baldiston, he might have gone all the way down, though Scott Flagel had a pretty good angle on him.
So the Lions, who have been outscored 10-0 in the 4th quarter, have it 1st and 10 at their 54-yard line. Cherry breaks an initial tackle from Mike Walker and gains 10 yards. And again, that is the Tony Cherry that the BC Lions must have and haven't had up till now, because partly due to an injury. 33 carries for 79 yards for Cherry in 3 games. And he's had, I would think, all of that in this one game or close to it.
And for him to continue to have success, they have to be successful at the point of attack with the offensive lineman. But receivers like Karinchi Williams downfield, getting in people's way to allow Cherry to break them.
Only 47 yards for Cherry. The kick returns, I guess, are what stick out in my mind. It seems like he has more. Dunnigan faked the handoff to Cherry after pumping, and then is grabbed by Lorenz and Skillman.
I think Dunnigan makes the wise move, not trying to hand the ball off. Because I believe Frank Robinson was right on top of Cherry. You see it here, Robinson going right up the middle, puts one arm on Cherry, one arm on Dunnigan. Dunnigan feels has a better chance of success, at least not turning the ball over if he hangs on to it.
has had quite a game on that defensive line, along with Walker and Covington and Skillman and the linebackers Robinson and Patterson, even though BC scored all those points. 2nd and 15 Lions at the Hamilton 50. Dunnigan throws it long, but Smith couldn't get close to the ball. Phil Smith is yelling that he was grabbed, but if he was, the officials didn't see it.
Well, there was definitely some contact at the point when the ball was snapped. Donahue Grant getting up, and we've heard Donovan say we're going to challenge the coverage. Well, I guess the Ticats are going to do exactly the same. We're going to challenge you face-to-face off the line of scrimmage and make you beat us.
David Williams, fortunate he didn't get an objectionable conduct penalty there as he was berating the official. 3rd down and 15. BC at the Hamilton 50. 5 minutes, 40 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Hamilton leading by 6. Takes a little extra time with no rush. Winfield bobbles it and goes down with the ball at the 24 of the Ticats. Quickly to recap, Lance Shields with a 31-yard fumble return started off the second half on a good note for Hamilton, putting them in front 27-24. David Williams got a long touchdown pass from Dunnigan. BC was back in front. Mike Kerrigan came back and threw to Tony Champion for a Hamilton touchdown to put Hamilton back in front, and then it was Williams again. Late in the 3rd quarter, BC back on top, and then Hamilton with an Osbaldiston field goal at 4:02 of the 4th, and McAdoo on a 1-yard run set up by a spectacular diving catch by Champion, and Hamilton has a 6-point lead. Here's Champion with it again, out to the 33 and within a yard of a Ticat first down.
With the wind at Hamilton's back, this is an important series with just about 5 minutes left in this 4th quarter for the BC to try to stuff and shut down this offensive drive. So at least even with a good punt, they get the good field position at least their 40. Champion stretching for everything you can get is about 1.5 shy.
2nd down and a yard. Ticats at their 33. 4 minutes, 45 seconds left. 4th quarter. Tommy carrying. Stopped for a loss of 2 yards. And the Ticats, Quick Parker with a big play, will have to punt the ball when it looked like they would pick up a first down and eat up some valuable time. The veteran Quick Parker came up with a type of big play that the Lions so desperately need if they are to win their first game of the year.
Again, the Lions in that punt return formation. 1 man back, 11 men in the line of scrimmage. You never really know if they're going to set up a return or if they're going for the block.
3rd and 3, a 2-yard loss. The ball at the 30. Hamilton is Osbaldiston kicking. And he launches one. Wallace way back to his 25. Finds some room, jumps over a tackler and gets it out to the 32, maybe the 33-yard line of the BC Lions. Wallace returned one earlier, 93 yards for a touchdown. 44-38 Hamilton. And the story tonight has been scoring, and then more. An outstanding individual performance. David Williams, 3 touchdowns BC. Winfield, 239 yards receiving and kick returning. And Dunnigan and Kerrigan, 3 touchdown passes each. Champion has 2 of Kerrigan's 3 touchdown strikes. Dunnigan on first down to Streeter at the 40. And Eric Streeter driven out at the 45-yard line by Donahue Grant and Sonny Gordon, but it's a gain of 13 yards.
We've talked about a number of the changes that the BC Lions have had to work through. One person who's very important in their offensive scheme and who at about this time last year broke the game open for the BC Lions, that was Anthony Parker, who usually is at that fullback spot, had his knee scoped, and they thought he might be able to get ready for this game. Better not take a chance, try to get him 100% healthy for next week, but they miss him in the lineup, as any team would.
From the 45, Dunnigan rolling and throwing long down the right side, intending it for Streeter, but a little bit overthrown. Dunnigan had some pressure and had to get rid of the football too. "28 years old now, Matt Dunnigan, in his 7th year, his 2nd with the BC Lions, from Louisiana Tech. Traded in June of '88 for Jim Sandusky, Jeff Braswell, Greg Stuman, Andre Reggie Taylor and Leroy Blue. That's the way it worked out in the final analysis. A lot of talent in that package. 2nd and 10 for Dunnigan and the Lions from the 45. Dunnigan ducks it to Cherry over the middle, and he has it for a first down at the Ticats 51-yard line.
Good read by Matt Dunnigan to get that ball off. Roper's a little bit slow getting up, and he's lucky that Flagel was a little bit slow coming across. See the reads dropping straight back, sees the pressure from the outside, throws it inside the hole.
Come early and enjoy the food and enjoy the entertainment.
We have 3 minutes left in this Donnybrook at Ivor-Wynne Stadium. The Hamilton Tiger Cats leading the BC Lions 44-38. Tony Cherry hit at the line, bounces off, scoots down the sideline and gets 10 yards. And what looks like a BC first down at the Hamilton 41. 2:49 to go.
Well, that's the type of effort the Lions need on offense to turn a play that was pretty much nullified at the point and get something out of it. That's that special effort that's going to take to get the BC Lions out of this hole that they're in.
Tony Cherry has carried the ball 13 times tonight, Neil. He's returned kicks. It's a humid night, and yet he still has the reserve to make that play, bounce off and run to the outside. Admire the physical condition that all these players are in, but especially those guys who have to run hard like that all the time. It's remarkable.
Well, I think they thrive on the work, too.
Yeah.
They enjoy it. The more they get, the hotter it is. I think they can look downfield and see the faces of the people that are supposed to be hitting them and draw some strength from that, especially if they're showing some fatigue.
And measure, and it's a little short, so 2nd and inches. Lions at the Hamilton 41. Dunnigan keeps. Got close to the 40, good enough for a BC first down with 2:47 left on the clock, and the Ticats leading 44-38, looking to run their record of 4-0, and the BC Lions trying to avert an 0-4 beginning to their season.
Well, they're a better football team than that, and I suggested that to Larry Donovan, and he said, that's probably correct in our personnel, but we've had some even small problems. They haven't lost football games by an awful lot, but they have lost them.
They lost the first 3 by a grand total of 12 points, 2 by 5, and the other by 2. Dunnigan puts it up deep, and Streeter couldn't get there at the 5-yard line.
Well, a little confusion downfield on running patterns. Streeter looked like he was the man that the ball was being thrown to, but Phil Smith, 71, was also in the same vicinity. The problem with that is Phil Smith pulls over a defensive back with him, makes it awfully congested.
After that incompletion, David Williams was on the other side of the field, and he turned to the BC bench and waved his arms at, I don't know, at the coaches, I guess. Williams wants the football. You know he wants it to come his way, and that might not be a bad idea at this stage.
Well, they got him down to the short side of the field right now.
2nd and 10. Dunnigan, will he get it off? No, he won't. Sacked at the 50. And fumbled and recovered by the Ticats.
It looked initially like Daryl Patterson just simply stripped the ball. Dunnigan's going to turn to his left. When he does, Patterson sort of sneaks in, pulls the ball up. The ball never even touches the ground. See Dunnigan struggling for it. He knew he had lost it, but Patterson had a firm grip on it.
8 sacks for Hamilton tonight. Patterson has had a couple and now has a fumble recovery. I said the Foster's MVP won't come from the defensive side of the ball, but have to give Daryl Patterson some consideration. He's had quite a game. McAdoo on first down. Stopped for a gain of 1 or 2. Alondra Johnson with a tackle. 2 minutes, 13 seconds left. 44th. Hamilton as Daryl Patterson enjoys what he just accomplished.
Well, Al Bruno had a chance to pick him up when Patterson left Ottawa last year, and he said he's had good luck with Frank Robinson, who's been that type of player, and he felt the same for Patterson, and they've both been very solid performers for him.
2nd down and 8 from the Hamilton 52. Kerrigan couldn't find anybody, but has some more time, gets it away to Champion, and he He spins off the first BC tackler, Rick Ryan, but is down at center field. Gain of a couple, and it will leave the Ticats in a punting situation with 1:47 to go. The Lions are going to have their work cut out, Neil, because barring a block, as Baldiston will probably kick this one pretty deep with a wind, barring a block or a good return, which we've seen both of tonight. So.
Well, as Baldiston's had a combined game, both punted the ball awfully well, has been solid and been there when it counted to kick the field goals.
3 for 3 in field goals is Baldiston. The ball at center field is Baldiston at his 40. Clock is running, and it's down to 1:35 left in the fourth quarter. And as Baldiston will let it run as long as he can. And he just got it away. I'm not sure how. Wallace trying to swing wide, turn it back up now, and he's down at the 20-yard line. Big rush by the Lions, and they just missed the ball.
Just missed it is right. You'll see all the pressure coming up front. As Baldiston extends about 5 yards, and they came very close. The problem with going after the football, rarely do you get a chance to set up a good return, because most of your pressure is upfield.
But at that time, that was the call. To go after
no question.
Given the wind conditions and now the time, 1:20 left, which is lots of time to move the ball downfield. So it's up to Matt Dunnigan and the BC offense. They have put up most of the 38 points the Lions have. But unless they can add another touchdown, it won't be good enough. The completion to Williams. He's to the 30 for a BC first down, a gain of 10 yards.
We'll see BC in their hurry-up offense, but I also think we'll see Dunnigan trying to complete those quick hitters or up the seams and allow the athlete to make the big play, not try to go for it all at once with the big throw.
Dunnigan throws. Streeter, no good. He got tangled up with Sonny Gordon. And Dunnigan threw it high, seeing the Ticats in the area. I think maybe he threw it up there on purpose to make sure there was no interception. Mike Walker shaken up. 1:10 left. Hamilton leading BC 44-38. And Larry Donovan, fully aware of the importance of this game and how crucial the outcome is to his football team.
Watch him, watch.
And very frank in discussing his status before the game with us.
Yes, not seem too concerned about his personal welfare in respect to a job. He was more concerned about getting this football team together and feeling that he was that much closer than he has been. And Mike Walker, hopefully not a serious injury, could be replaced by Mark Napierkowski, number 79.
Directing some words toward the BC offense.
Maybe someone took a shot at him while he was being held up. Someone took a shot at his knee. But this time gave BC a little bit extra chance to regroup.
Second down and 10 Lions at their 30. Dunnigan over the middle. Completes to Carinci up to the 50-yard line. Great effort by Jane Carinci. Shaken up as he tried to leap between two Hamilton defenders. They got a 19-yard gain. They'll put it down at the 49 with 1:05 left.
The quick hitter started to the outside of Frank Robinson and then came underneath him very quickly. You see the impact on the ground. I think that the shock of that is what hurt him, either the right shoulder or elbow or getting his wind knocked out of him.
Well, Carenci's been doing this for 9 years now. I think you tend to feel him a little more all the time. Eric Streeter also shaken up.
Well, that's got to hurt your chances right there. Two of your starting receivers just go down for a minute.
Carinci will have to leave for one play. Had a good game. And Streeter will have to go out, which means they'll have to insert Paul Nastasiuk and Mike Belafontaine at the receiver spots, along with David Williams and Phil Smith. at least for this one play. 1st and 10 at the 49, and Dunnigan wants to put it in the air and does, and completes it. No, Nastasia couldn't hang on at the 49-yard line of Hamilton. The pass a little bit low. Appeared catchable. Donahue Grant shaken up on the play. 54 seconds now left in the 4th quarter.
Well, the effects of this game taking its toll now. With 54 seconds left, it's been a tough one. There's been lots of hitting, and with the humidity, it takes a bit out of you.
Well, they're talking to Earl Winfield at the Hamilton bench.
You pick a weak side corner. Tell Sonny Gordon to go to.
And he's going to have to go in and play halfback with Donahue Grant injured.
Sonny goes back.
We saw him do that once last year.
Yeah, we did.
You're not taking David Williams. That's the other guy. Okay, side blast man.
We heard the suggestion that Donahue Grant might have pulled his quadricep thigh muscle. He seems to be walking very gingerly on it, that left leg.
And you know, the Lions have noticed that Winfield has come into the game. Grant was in there replacing Jim Rockford, who was hurt earlier. Now with Grant going out, they're out of defensive backs. Rockford with a hamstring pull. So Earl Winfield has to come in and play some. I guess they'll line him up at defensive halfback. They wouldn't put him on the corner, I don't think. They'll put out David Williams there.
Well, I was going to say, did you ever think we'd see the matchup of David Williams and Earl Winfield one-on-one?
I guess that's possible.
Well, we've seen pretty much everything else tonight.
Yeah. 54 seconds left on the clock. 44-38 Hamilton. Earl Winfield is in at defensive halfback. Now, Stephen Jordan is the corner on that side. Flegel at safety. Sonny Gordon and Shields on the other side. Now they're putting Winfield on the corner against David Williams. And the pass is complete and then flipped to Tony Cherry. And he's down to the Hamilton 27-yard line.
Holy smokes, that's the flea flicker. I haven't only seen that done in practice. And even then in practice, it's not executed. It's a quick hitch pass, thrown out. You got Cherry already on his way. The ball's there now. It's gone quickly. Cherry's out of the backfield. You can see Giftopoulos in chase.
And Williams lined up against Winfield. They made sure they put Winfield on the other side. It's just the excitement is too much for me. I'm losing it here. 46 seconds left, 4th quarter. Lions down by 6 at the Hamilton 27. Dunnigan in the end zone. Nastasiuk, the receiver down there. But if we could hazard a guess, it would be that Dunnigan threw that one away with no receiver open. That play, the flea flicker, Williams to Cherry, wound up in a 34-yard gain for the Lions, who now have 40 seconds left to get the score that could win it for them.
That's a great call, that flea flicker.
Oh.
It's not easy to execute, especially if the linebacker in chase with the running back is close.
2nd and 10, 27. Streeter going high, and he couldn't come down with the ball. And now the Lions will face a 3rd down and 10 at the Hamilton 27 with 36 seconds left. That will make or break their fortunes to the extent that if they don't get it, they're done. If they do make a 1st down, then we'll have to see if they can take it the rest of the way. 3rd and 10 BC. No good. Hamilton takes over with 31 seconds left. And that should win it for the Ticats.
James Carinci, we saw him connected that pass 3 plays ago. You see 2 cross. One on top. The linebackers are one. And the tight coverage by Scott Flegel is the reason that play didn't succeed.
Well, Bruno praised that his patchwork half defense now with 2 defensive backs out of there, was able to stop the BC Lions. 31 seconds to go. They'll hand it off to Derek McAdoo, right side. He gains a couple of yards. The clock down to 28. Hamilton leading 44-38. The Lions will be able to stop the clock with a timeout, and they do that now. And that may ultimately force Hamilton to punt the ball on 3rd down if they don't make a 1st down on this next play. You know, people will ask, why wouldn't Dunnigan go for David Williams on that play? He's big play man all night, your money man. And yet you throw the ball where the reads take you, I guess. And Carinci was there, and he just didn't connect with him.
Well, you're right. As BC calls a timeout, sure you go with your reads. That's exactly how a quarterback is taught. You go what the defense is going to give you, and the specific read will take you somewhere. That time it took him to Carinci. But you can't fault a good defensive play. That doesn't mean it's the offense's fault. It's not Dunnigan's fault or Carinci's fault. And it's been a roller coaster type of day emotionally for Larry Donovan.
28 seconds to go. Kerrigan fakes. He wants to waste some time and does. He's down at the 23 with 23 seconds on the clock. And now Bruno has to make a decision. They can let the clock run down to 19 seconds, take the snap, and probably run out the 4 to kill the clock. But if Kerrigan was to slip coming back from center and got pinned with a second left, the Lions then would have a shot at a winning touchdown. Now, the other thing you can do is take a time count violation.
Well, that's exactly what they're talking about right now.
Take your time out, Al. Wait to get 5 seconds to take time out, Al.
The only problem is he's probably getting about 5 or 6 different suggestions.
So Kerrigan, see what he's going to do. Will he take the time count violation? No, he's going to take the ball. Runs around, and the clock does run out. Little confusion there at the Ticat bench, but it worked out for them. And they have emerged with a 44-38 victory. Bruno smiling, and a bit of a melee here, which we hope will be broken up quickly. And cooler heads will prevail. The BC Lions, an extremely frustrated football team at this stage, scored 38 points and lost 44-38 to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who are now 4-0.